What's up, guys? Michael back again with another video. So I just came across this stock just the other day. It's nothing crazy, to be honest. I just honestly kind of wanted to make a video about it. I haven't been able to find a lot of videos about this stock on YouTube or anywhere really. It is a penny stock, so it's, buy at your own risk type of thing. But I thought it was pretty interesting in the sense that, the next up and coming, sector or area to probably invest in is going to be robotics, quantum computing, and anything deeper into AI. So I came across this stock, and the stock is called Kraken Robotics. So once again, this is a penny stock. I'm still doing my research on it, but I saw some things that I really wanted to point out and just make a video on it. So currently the stock is trading at $3.31. The interesting thing that I saw is that the company is profitable. So for their last quarter, they did about, I think this is in millions, so they did about 90 million in revenue. It looks like the revenues amount is in Canadian dollars, so let's just keep that in mind. It would be a little bit less in US dollars, but they did about 90 million in revenue. And as far as like, all the other stats, all right. So cost of revenue is around, you know, a little bit under half of that. Their gross profit was around $48 million. Operating income was 8.6 million. So they do have some costs there. Operating expenses around 40 million. So that's where some of the cost is going to. But, the biggest thing that I saw was, they have income coming in. And a lot of things with these penny stocks is they don't have income coming in. So it's like you're just praying for it to run on hopium and, make you some money. But here it's not necessarily the case. So as far as Kraken Robotics goes, this is about Kraken Robotics. This is their website. Ticker symbol is KRKNF. It is on the OTC market. So if you are going to buy this stock, I know for me personally on Charles Schwab, they charge around $6 and some change in order to buy the stock. If you're trading on Robinhood or any other platform, you might actually not see it. You're going to need a large brokerage or a large brokerage firm in order to buy this stock. So basically, it's on the OTC market. So buy at your own risk. But anyway, so with this company, they do underwater robotics type of thing. So they basically have three products. They don't have a lot of products, but they have three main products, and their current products are they have this thing. It is synthetic aperture sonar. So this device basically scans the seabed for any type of evidence or any type of material that's down there. I think this is very interesting in the sense that with the ocean, we don't necessarily put a lot of thought into it, but it's kind of like space. There's still a lot to be discovered with the seabed. So for most of the communication in the world and United States going to other countries, we run a lot of optical cables, fiber cables, telecommunication cables, all under the ocean bed. So, this sonar system is very important in the sense that it helps us, gather data on those types of, cables and all the information that's needed down there. Then they have the towed SAS, so it's basically one that you would drag or, tow behind a boat or, any type of other sea vessel. And then they have the subsea batteries. So I think this is kind of one of the biggest thing right now is the batteries to operate these sonars and other devices. And what really got me interested with this company was, I don't know if you guys have heard of Androl. I forgot if it's Androl Technologies or Androl. It's Androl Industries. So Androl, they build a lot of these new I don't know, autonomous robots. They're building a lot of them for the United States government. They just signed a deal with the Australian government not too long ago in regards to a new contract on, building these devices for the Australian government. And with Anduril, they have a lot of technology, guys. And the way that it connects back to Kraken Robotics is Anduril buys a lot of those batteries from Kraken Robotics. So they use them for, their underwater, submarines and, everything else that they're doing with building these autonomous vessels for the United States government and all other governments around the world. As you can see, if you just look at the news, I think they've done a deal with Taiwan. They did a deal with Australia. I know that was the last big one that they got, and they're building a ton of technology for the U.S. government. So here's that article in regards to Australia. They signed a $1.1 billion deal with Anduril for their undersea drone fleet. And Anduril buys their batteries from Kraken. They buy this battery right here, this subsea battery from Kraken. So I'm not speculating in the sense that, you know, Anduril is going to go buy Kraken or anything like that. I'm just kind of putting this video out there. I plan on doing more research on this company, but for right now, it's just something that I'm putting out there. I do have a small starter position that I started on Friday. And once again, the stock is really cheap. It's cheap in the sense that the market cap is only $1.4 billion. So that's still startup level type of numbers, right? I think unicorns and most startups, anything under 2 billion, that's still very raw and, a lot of growth left. And if we look at the year to date numbers right now, we'll see that they're up 74% year to date. Obviously, that's pretty large for a penny stock, I would say. So there's still a lot of room for this company to grow. But coming back to the financials here, once again, gross profit was around 48 million. Operating income, so I think kind of like that's the biggest thing, is 8.6 million, but it's fluctuating, right? It's going up and down just because, once again, these contracts are few and far between, it seems like right now. But I think, with robotics going into the future, it's going to be a very big sector. So trying to get in on those companies early is always the best ideas. And obviously, there's ones out there. There's a lot of robotics companies out there that are not public or that are not trading yet. For example, Anduril is still pre-IPO. Figure Robotics, pre-IPO. The only real company that I could think of right now that's large and is also working on robotics is Tesla. And I own Tesla, don't get me wrong, but we don't know what that plan really looks like yet. It's still kind of a long way to go, but Anduril, they're doing all kinds of things, and I would personally love to own Anduril, but it's not public yet. And by the time it does go public, it's going to be a pretty large IPO. I think their last valuation was at $30 billion. So it's nuts. And just looking at the website here, you can see they have a lot of different tech that they're working on. And I'll do probably another video on Anduril, but right now it's just mainly on Kraken and Kraken Robotics, the company itself. Just really thought it was interesting that they actually are making money. I think that's the biggest thing with these penny stocks, is trying to make money. And here's a article on Seeking Alpha that I came across. Kraken Robotics is one of the first movers in subsea intelligence, leading the synthetic aperture sonar market and providing superior patented subsea batteries. So there's no other company out there that's really doing something like this. And you always want to find those companies that are in their own little niche and creating their own products and are actually making money. So this is a quick video just to talk about Kraken and this company that I found. I'm trying to make more videos consistently. If people want to see a deep dive or, me talk a little bit more about Kraken, let me know, and, we can dive a little bit deeper into it. And then another thing that I'm going to point out before leaving is there's only 306 million shares right now that are outstanding. So that's relatively low. But yeah, this is a quick video, guys. I'll probably be back with future videos on Kraken, seeing where it goes, doing more research, and, bringing it to you guys. Talk to you guys later.